Okay, so we're gonna hop right into it. And I just want to start with, is this what it feels like? Is this what it feels like to be on time? I just feel like this very strong sense of calmness right now, like I have the time today, you know, like I ain't gotta rush. I don't have to fight for the sunlight. Okay, so yeah, let's just hop into it. Week five, like live like Fox 5, week live. Oh, okay, well yeah, week live, week 5. Okay. No, week 5. Okay, so I honestly feel like week 5 was just very, because you know, Mother Nature hit. So it was just one of those things where it was like, quite literally, I physically was just not able to do much this week, or this past week. And I kind of felt like it aligned with the readings and what week 5 was all about. I did my artist day yesterday, which I was even questioning whether or not it was too simple or not. Like, I went to the park, I finally cracked open Wicked, I started reading it, and I noticed how much I questioned myself and how much I put a cap on things and how much I say what is and is not correct. And I'm always looking for somebody to give me that stamp of approval, someone outside of myself, externally, I guess, some type of external approval. And I'm glad I didn't listen to that voice. I definitely think that was my censor. And I went to the park and I enjoyed myself. Wicked was very, I mean, I didn't finish clearly, but starting it was very nice. The vocabulary was very funny. I found myself laughing and chuckling at certain moments. Yeah, I experienced a moment of synchronicity this week because I have this series that I started on TikTok called In Designed Divine Time. And it's one of those projects that I had in the vault, just something to get me out there, get my feet wet so I can just gain momentum to put out, you know, other ideas, projects, and what have you. And so I'm on, I think I posted like 1.5, like part 1, but like chapter 5 or whatever this week. And when I was doing the voiceover for it, it was talking about limitations. And the first topic of week 5 is limitations. And I was like, look at this. Like, I don't think that that's an accident. This is not a coincidence. It's synchronicity, as Julia would call it. A part of me felt like I was lagging. So I was kind of glad that, you know, I was physically on bed rest this week because I just wanted to play catch up social media wise. I know I've already mentioned that posting and stuff is starting to annoy me. I think it's just more so the fact that in real time, like in reality, I'm on time and I'm doing the things as I'm supposed to do them. But then it's not even recording and documenting. Even that takes a bit of energy to do. But it's not even that, it's the editing part. It's really the editing part. I am noticing how much I dislike editing. And at first it wasn't that bad, but I guess it's just, like I said, I'm just tired of editing the same things. I'm tired of talking. I'm just ready to do. So I think that plays a part into it, but just that overall feeling of being tired of editing these type of videos, the vlogish stuff. It's not even like vlogging. It's just, I mean, I guess vlogging, documenting, talking about what I'm doing and how the process is going for me. And I just kind of want to be more creative, which, I mean, that's what this whole thing is about, unblocking my creativity. So I guess, you know, it's working. The force, it's moving within me. But yeah, editing is just really what takes me out. And so I said all that to say, last week I felt like I was kind of lagging with posting week 4 because I'm in week 5. And I'm just like, I mean, if we were to go by social media time, it would look like I'm behind, I feel. I mean, which I feel like it's not about that also. But I think because of what social media has grown into, it's like we try to do and post in real time because, you know, time is money. We got content to create and whoop-de-whoop. But I just think for me, you know, I've been struggling again with time this whole time. And I finally think that I'm learning my lesson and that I'm working with time instead of against it, and allowing it to flow within me, and also just prioritizing myself, because I realize how much of my time goes to other people, especially after this week. So yeah, that was all of that, the social media part aspect of it, at least. But it does feel good to be on time. Like, I definitely think I can get this out and just edit my morning pages and artist date for week 5 today, and get it out today, and that makes me feel really, really good. I just hate that week 4 was lagging, but it's a growth process. Like, I'm not perfect. I'm on my way there, but no, I'm kidding. It doesn't exist, but on my way to being the best version of myself. And so I know that it is going to take time, but yeah. And then also my storage went out. Like, I'm over here like struggling between 2 phones trying to get the storage to download the videos and edit properly, like to the point where I can't receive text messages. Like, my phone is just lagging. So that also played a part as to why week 4's material got out so late. But I found a solution, so that shouldn't happen anymore moving forward, at least until I get the device that I need. But that was the whole thing. But yeah, I mean, overall I feel like this week was very chill. It's very relaxing. I was very much like internally thinking about myself, because I feel like that's what the reading caused me to do. Okay, so let's just hop into it. Something I also did differently this week, which I have never done, but again, like I said, Mother Nature hit, was that the 10 tasks, I usually break them up over the course of the week, but I did all 10 tasks yesterday on my artist day before I started reading. A lot of it was just journal exercises. She didn't ask anything too strenuous of us as far as like, yeah, physically, but a lot of the tasks were geared towards really getting, I feel, me to realize that I give my time and I place limitations on myself. And it was just very playful. Like, one of them was like, make a wish list, and like, right, if I had money at 20 years old, name 5 things I would get. I was like, my tie-dye Jeep, please. Trip to Cali, please. So it was really fun to just like play around with that. So week 5 was all about recovering a sense of possibility. And she said that this week we're going to be asked to examine the payoffs in remaining stuck. And I definitely felt myself really asking myself, like, what is the payoff? Like, what am I benefiting from staying in this position for real? Like, I can be scared, fearful, but like, what am I gaining? And the first topic is limits. The whole first page was just very, very moving. One of the chief barriers to accepting God's generosity is our limited notion of what we are in fact able to accomplish. And then she goes into how, on one hand, we take ourselves so seriously that we don't want to look like an idiot when we try to create and act on these grandiose ideas. And then on the other hand, we don't take ourselves or God or spirit serious enough to the point where we actually do the grandiose ideas, and they just kind of fall to the wayside, like they fall within our grasp. Remembering that God is my source, we are in the spiritual position of having an unlimited bank account. Most of us never consider how powerful the Creator really is. Instead, we decide how powerful God is. We unconsciously set a limit on how much God can give us or help us. We are stingy with ourselves, and if we receive a gift beyond our imagining, we often send it back. It's funny because in the podcast that I mentioned last week, Still Life, talking about meaning, they were really going into how in this society there's a lot of external forces that kind of support this drive to get this gold medal. as an example. Like, that's the metaphor. We're using the gold medal. You can replace it with whatever you want: success, love, happiness, power, whatever, money. But we're in pursuit of this gold medal. And he was making a really good point as far as like how the Olympics, it's like every 4 years, and someone wins the gold medal for that year and they're the best. But if the Olympics were every day, the best wouldn't be the best anymore. The very next day there will be somebody that probably will beat the best, and that person who was number one might come in second or third place. And there's a reason why these things are stretched over time, why it happens every 4 years, the Olympics, for example, because we're trying to freeze time and we're trying to hold on to that accomplishment, because we're a very accomplishment savvy environment, or should I say society. Like, we base our success off of the last accomplishment. And you know, it really just said something to me. Like, it really just moved me deeply. We have an unlimited source, right, of power, from the creator, right, from spirit. But if we place limitations on that because of X, Y, and Z, we're not able to really step into our full power. And by not really stepping into our power, I feel like supports what Julie was saying here about how we're scared to look like idiots, pursuing our creativity, pursuing our purpose, pursuing whatever task. Rome wasn't built in a day, okay? It's just kind of like, how do you expect to get there? And I don't know, I felt like when talking about meaning, relating it back to the podcast, when we're talking about like the real meaning of life, it's like, what are we basing that off of? These accomplishments, other people's perceptions, all of these external factors that don't fulfill us, me, internally. It doesn't make sense. We're forever going to be on this little wheel chasing the cheese, and the line is forever going to keep getting pushed. So I think it's just best to, you know, decipher success based off of your own boundaries, but also having the strength and the courage to not place limits on yourself, to do the grandiose idea that Julia mentioned here, and to know that we are pulling from an unlimited bank. Because something else that I really liked here that she mentioned, for this to happen, first of all, we must believe that we are allowed to catch the bus. We come to recognize that God is unlimited in supply and that everyone has equal access. This begins to clear up guilt about having or getting too much, since everyone can draw on the universal supply. We deprive no one with our abundance. If we learn to think of receiving God's good as being an act of worship, cooperating with God's plan to manifest goodness in our own lives, we can begin to let go of having to sabotage ourselves. This really just reminded me of being humble. You know, I used to really take pride in being humble. People used to describe me as humble, like people would tell me to my face. And I always felt like that was a good characteristic to have. But this limitation topic of this week really made me question whether or not I wanted to still remain humble. Like, I think being humble is a good characteristic to have, but I think a downside of it is placing limitations on ourselves, or like starting to believe that we can only go so far because we don't want other people around us to make us feel like, you don't want to make the people around you to feel bad because you're, you know, getting XYZ, because you're over here doing this, that, succeeding in your area, in your field, in your craft. And you know, you don't want to dim anyone else's light. You don't want to cast a shadow by your light shining brighter, you know. And I don't know, I really felt attacked, but in a good way. In a good way. Like, it really just made me like question myself, honestly. Like, I can still be humble, but know that I need to be hungry as well, humbly hungry, and go after what I need to do. Like, I need to put in the work. I need to go after what is mine if I truly want what's for me to happen. And I can't be concerned about how that may make other people feel. And this really just helps clarify, because yes, like, we all have access to spirit. We all have access to the power and abundance that they give us. So I think she's just correct. Like, it really does clear up any guilt that we have about getting too much. What did she say? Getting too much having too much. We're not depriving anyone of anything by having an abundance, you know. Another light bulb that Julia makes in the limits topic, she says, I recognize that many will balk at the simplicity of this concept. God doesn't run the movie business. We want to say, CAA does. I want to sound a cautionary note here for all artists who put their creative lives into solely human hands. This can block your good. Okay, so for me, this brought up previous feelings of feeling like I'm not good enough, right? So literally this past week, like in week 5, I was on TikTok because I didn't like just move to the DMV area, but like I've been here for about 1.5 years and I'm still trying to make friends. I'm trying to find community. And so I was on TikTok and I found this girl's TikTok and she was like, hey, like I just moved here from New Orleans and you know, if you want to make friends, like I created this group chat and it's grown to be this thing. Follow us on Instagram. We're gonna have like a happy hour, a little meet, greet, come by yourself, come with a +1, but either way you're gonna leave meeting new girls and stuff like that. If you're looking for someone to go to the gym with, to go out with, explore with, whatever, like just come. And I felt very like moved and confident in it. But then and I liked the post, I commented, and the event is coming up. Like it is not this week, but it's next week. I don't want to say the date because I don't want nobody to check me, okay? But no, but okay, the event is next week and I felt very confident in going. But then we have to RSVP, so that caused me to go on Instagram and like go to the link to RSVP, which I had no problem with. But now I'm starting to understand what people are saying when they say that there's a different energy on different social media platforms, which I hate. Like it sounds so superficial in a way. Like why is there different energies on different social media platforms? When essentially, low key, they all offer us the same thing, give or take, with different layouts and styles and shit, but like essentially they all just like give us the same thing. And like I was like, okay, so I opened the app and I went to their Instagram and off rip I was just kind of like, I was like, damn, like should I go? Because it's not even that I felt like I didn't belong, because I know I have different parts of me, you feel me? There's the peace, love, and happy Daisy, but then there's also baby X Daisy, and then there's also baddie Daisy, like baddie shot o'clock, like you feel me? But yeah, there's also rave Daisy. Like I love going to musical festivals and I can dress up and go to Coachella and stuff like that. Electronic music, like I said, I'm a lover of music. So it's just kind of like, you know, there's all these different facets like of me. So it's not that I don't feel like I don't belong or that I won't meet someone, but it was just the aesthetic that it was giving on Instagram. I was just kind of like, like, you know, it's like, are these people really not gonna judge me? Or like, are they really looking for friends? But I hate to put what the past has done to me, like the past people, I hate to put that on people. And so I also hate that I had this feeling, because I'm just like, girl, just go. Like it's free, like just go, and if you don't find nobody, that's fine. Like you know what I'm saying? That's fine. Go to the next one, try again. You know, like what are you so afraid of? It's like I'm afraid of losing people and judgment. Like I'm afraid of all the bad things before it even happens. Like what if something good actually comes out of it? You know, even if it's not what I had in mind initially, what if it's still good? I have to give myself that opportunity. So yeah, I noticed that, and I said all that to say that, you know, when she was like, she wants to make a cautionary note, like she wants to say like, hey, don't put the life of your creativity solely in human hands, because it's not gonna, no good is gonna come out of it. And I feel like that's a reminder that we really need to pull from spirit. Between spirit and ourselves, we have enough to get us started, and we're more than ready, we're more than equipped for the journey. The next topic is finding the river, and I really enjoyed this topic. You know, she starts off with saying that for 4 weeks now, We've been excavating our consciousness. We have seen how often we think negatively and fearfully. How frightening it's been for us to begin to believe that there might be a right place for us, that we could attain by listening to our creative voice and following its guidance. We have begun to hope, and we have feared that hope. So the topic, finding the river, is honestly just all about how we're starting to shift our perception. We're starting to shift to spiritual dependency, and it is a gradual shift. And she says that the morning pages, which is a stream of consciousness, is one of the ways that helps us get there. But we're learning to be less judgmental with ourselves. We're learning to trust and listen to our inner artist. And part of finding that river is learning to go with its flow, like the rapids, currents, and all. Recovery is a process of finding the river. As we begin to pry ourselves loose from our old self-concepts, we find that our new emerging self may enjoy all sorts of bizarre adventures. Instead of just knocking ourselves down and shutting ourselves out before we even try, saying yes to anything. It's funny, there's a game in theater called Yes and, where you're not allowed to say no. So if somebody says something to you, you can't deny it, you can't ignore it, you just have to say yes, and I'm going to go to the store and get some red blueberries. Yes, and I think I saw that at the corner store, no need to go there. Like, what, red blueberries? But yeah, that's what she's saying here. We are loosening the hold on fixed opinions and short-sighted views. Our moods and views and insights are transitory. We acquire a sense of movement, a current change in our lives. This current, or river, is a flow of grace, moving us to our right livelihood, companions, destiny. So that was a really good topic. And the last topic of week 5 is the virtue trap. And this is the topic where she is going into how artists, we have to be alone and we have to have downtime, because if we neglect that, and if we neglect our inner artist and that alone time, that energy and that pent up feeling and emotion is ultimately going to spew out to others and then come right back like a boomerang to ourselves. For an artist, withdrawal is necessary. Without it, the artist in us feels vexed, angry, out of sorts. If such deprivation continues, our artist becomes sullen, depressed, hostile. We eventually became like cornered animals, snarling at our family and friends to leave us alone and stop making unreasonable demands. This section too reminded me of being humble. Again, like just trying to be the best version that you can be, but using others as an excuse to put yourself last, if that makes sense, which I feel like she's going into here. You know, she was like in the early stages, these type of threats like, oh, I'll kill you if you interrupt me, you're making me really angry, you know, probably like when you hit me up while I'm doing this, that, and the third. But then she was like, over time, these threats, these warnings, if they go ignored, we start to deem to stay in whatever circumstance, whether it's a marriage, a job, a friendship, we stay in whatever circumstance requires those threats and warnings. Homicide gives way to suicide. I want to kill myself replaces I could murder you. And I feel like that's what this is where, you know, Julia starts to say that we get caught in a virtue trap. I kind of feel like this topic is really gonna like hurt a lot of us humble people's feelings. Humble artists is gonna hurt a lot of our feelings and give us a harsh truth, a harsh reality. Many of us made a virtue out of deprivation. We have used it to feed a false sense of spirituality grounded in being good, meaning superior. I call this seductive faux spirituality the virtue trap. Spirituality has often been misused as a route to an unloving solitude, a stance where we proclaim ourselves above our human nature. For an artist, virtue can be deadly. Just choose yourself. Whatever those real feelings that you need, do that. If you need time to yourself, if you need to take a detox, if you're not talking to anybody, do that. She says we strive to be good, to be nice, to be helpful, to be unselfish. We want to be generous, of service, of the world. But what we really want is to be left alone. And so, you know, I really just really felt this section. Once again, I always feel like Julia's coming for me. But yeah, I feel like, yeah. And at the end of this topic, she asks us to ask ourselves, are we self-destructive? So, you know. And then she has a virtual trap quiz, which I took the virtue trap quiz, and that is when I realized that a lot of my time goes to others. I didn't think I was self-destructive, but maybe in these last current few years, like maybe I have been moving for other people and not myself. There's also an exercise, Forbidden Joys, where she wants us to list 10 things that we love to do if we were allowed to do them. And then there was a wish list, which she wants us to just put I wish 19 times. And she said it's a great technique to evade the censor, which I couldn't agree more. When I did the wish list, it definitely reminded me of this wish list, which I kid y'all not, I made this wish list in 2016. Yes, it was my freshman year of college. Yes, and I still have the paper, and it was such fun, colorful things on there. Like I used to have this Hello Kitty backpack, a giraffe one, and I used to go into the Hello Kitty store and I was like, okay, like I want to collect all of them. Vinyl player, you know how long I've wanted a vinyl player? Like why haven't I had a vinyl player by now? Like not even one that I can say that I've had. Like no. Yeah, there's just like a lot of like cool little trinkets there, and it reminded me of that wish list, and it was really nice to look back at it. You know, I'm like gonna put it all together and compile a list. I'm pretty sure not much has changed in 9 years, so I'm excited to just compare the wish list that I have, because some of the things I said yesterday in my wish list, I was like, I wish for world peace. Don't we all? That's always the fight, and I ain't gonna stop till we get it. But no, yeah, I mean week 5 was cool. Like I honestly cannot complain. A part of me feels like I didn't go too much in detail because of my storage, because I feel like I just had so many feelings this week. But ultimately, I do think that the recovery is working. I do think I'm moving into a more receptive version of myself that is just listening to my inner artist, listening to spirit, and moving in that. Yeah. Just really moving in that. So, week 5 for the win. I'm gonna see y'all next week at the halfway point, at the end of the halfway point. 6 weeks. Baby. Okay. I'll see you next week. Bye guys.